rating our ride or die attractions at Magic Kingdom, plus this week's hot takes. Let's bring back the magic.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Bring Back the Magic podcast. This episode is sponsored by Theme Park Chuckle. Make sure you check them out at themeparkchuckle.com to grab you a funny Disney-based t-shirt or two, such as the Disney Until I Die tee featuring a color splash skull wearing Disney ears. Grab yours today at themeparkchuckle.com. I like that. I'm going to need one. Everybody who knows me knows how big I am on skulls. And speaking of me, I'm Josh.
And I'm his sister, Gina. And for those of you just joining us, welcome aboard.
I like it. It's like being in the monorail. So let me remind everybody here that this program is TV 14. So that means some of the younger viewers, even though we keep it very clean on the show, we just like to say that just in case anything might slip up. And make sure you have your parents' permission if you're watching this show and you are under that age. Thank you so much. So it's been a good week over like the holiday weekend and everything. Not so much maybe in current event news. We don't cover those things as we record this, but we've had a good time on social media thus far. You know, we've been doing some things. Tell me about it, Gina. What have we achieved thus far on social media?
Very big, exciting news for us is that we have hit 500 subscribers on YouTube, which is so far beyond our greatest dreams, I think, because really when looking, our last video was like 3 weeks ago at this point when this airs, maybe like 4 weeks ago. But in a month to get 500 subscribers is huge. And we didn't buy any bot subscribers or anything like that like people tend to do. This was all very organic. I give a lot of credit to the Disney community because they've just been so great. Again, we said from the first episode, Disney people can't get enough Disney. We know we're the same way and just are so appreciative. And we're like over 700 followers, I think, on both Instagram and TikTok. We might be like at 800 some. We're really angling to get to the 1,000 so we can go live. Although a friend of mine told me you may not need to hit that mark anymore to go live. So
yeah, I don't think you do, actually. I think that's just, but it means something to us, so back off.
Yeah. So once again, thank you to everyone in the Disney community. Thank you for every interaction, but thanks for loving and supporting us because we love and do our best to support you too.
Yeah, that's great. No, it's I was watching a thing a little earlier on today about somebody talking about Disney content and everything, saying, you know, good news, you're a content creator, and the other thing was like, bad news, you're in the most saturated market there is. I'm like, Disney, there's too many creators. Good, I love it. Have more of them. I like to see more Disney stuff on my feed than the horrible rhetoric everybody spews every second of the day. I get on Facebook and I'm like, shut down. I go on our TikTok for Bring Back the Magic. But if you're not following us, make sure you follow us. And I will sit there and scroll mindlessly through and love the hell out of things, TV 14, that are on there because it's all Disney and it's the most beautiful thing in the world. If they had just a Disney social media where it was strictly that, you could only post Disney, I'm all about it. Of course, inevitably somebody would meander in there and screw it all up because that's what everybody's good at. But I love the Disney stuff, good, bad, and different. If it's Disney, I'm down.
I agree. I never get tired. I could see 16 videos in 5 minutes of the monorail going by or somebody on the People Mover at night watching the fireworks. I never get tired of it. And on that note, I feel like we're shadow banned right now, which is that expression they use where all of a sudden you're not getting like views. Forget even likes, like just views is based on the algorithm. And you're like, hey, what happened? So like, you know, that's
Disney hate us.
You've always got to figure out the puzzle of like, what did I do? Why all of a sudden are my videos getting like 40 views in an entire day?
I blame you.
I guess. I mean, I am the one to blame. But yeah. And so on that note of social media, again, a reminder that we are at BBT Magic Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok. And then we have a Facebook page. And then obviously we are on YouTube and Spotify.
Nice. Now for one of our favorite topics, hot takes. Okay. So this hot take for the week, Gina, what do you got for us?
I don't like Stitch. And that's not a very uncommon. It's not that hot because I see it all the time. It's not. this is really going to blow up the internet. I've never even seen the movie because it just never appealed to me. So I know I'm giving
Forget
it
the internet. That might blow up our friendship and what is this
I'm
kinship? What are
willing
we
to take
called? We're
that chance.
siblings. What is
I'm
that?
willing to take that chance. You'd think I'd love it because I love Elvis. I love anything that's like Hawaiian or Polynesian. I will give it a chance eventually. It just never appealed to me. And I think it's really just resentment because I love a lot of really classic Disney characters. Obviously, Chip and Dale. I'm wearing my Chip shirt now. I love Cinderella. And so often those characters were so hard to find on merch. Like it was like a needle in a haystack. But Stitch just comes in and all of a sudden it's like your choices for anything are Mickey, Minnie, Donald, or Stitch. I was
Yeah.
like, you cut the line. That's my real
How
issue with
did he win the merchandise lottery and say, oh, by the way, the Fab Five, Fab Four, whatever you want to call them, and then Stitch. Okay.
That's my real issue with him. I don't care about anything other than the fact that I feel like he heavily cut the line in the merch world and I don't like it. And I know I'm not alone because I see a lot of other people post this, but that is my hot take for the week.
All right. Make sure you tell us if you agree or disagree with Gina in our comments on any of our social media. I'm sure you'll see this video somewhere and or audio. You're welcome to comment and follow up with that. My hot take for the week. I look forward to a lot of different things opening up in Disney. I love new experiences. I love things when they open and they drop. Okay. I'm like, I just want to go and experience something I haven't experienced before. And I'm like a little kid that way. That being said, I experienced the Cake Bake Shop on Boardwalk. And Boardwalk, we are DVC members. Boardwalk is our home resort. So we spend a lot of time on the boards. And let's just say I miss ESPN Club for multiple reasons now. One was because I have a place to watch football on Sundays when I'm down there. Not like it takes precedence over Disney, but it's nice to have somewhere to watch football and I don't have to go to like Splitsville or something like that. But they put in Cake Bake Shop. I'm like, all right, I have a belly on me. I like desserts. I like to eat. I'll go in there. Didn't have the greatest dining experience. We'll get to that a different thing. But I will say my hot take is the cakes that are literally like $22 a slice. And I want to say verging on, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I'm wrong a lot. I think it's almost like $140 for an entire cake. Okay, I've seen that in there. I've actually, I hate to say it, steered people away from the cakes that are in there because the rest of the stuff they have in Cake Bake Shop, the desserts that are just out there, like your macaron kind of stuff and your little crumbles and all, are pretty good. They're pretty good. They're top notch. The cakes I did not care for, and I do not think are worth $22 because it tastes like a cake that you're like, who made this cake? I have to try to be nice to them, because you might like the person and you don't want to hurt their feelings, but it's not like that icing that, kind of just rips with you. Like, it's like, yeah, like I got that good sweet flavor. It's that really muddled icing. And it just didn't do anything for me. I was at Festival of the Arts right after I went to Cake Bake Shop. I went to Germany. I had the $5 Black Forest cake they had there at the festival little booth outside Germany. And it was $5, and it obliterated everything that I had cake-wise at Cake Bake Shop, which I'm sorry to say, but that's my hot take. I don't think the cakes are that great. All right. Sorry. That's it. All right. Gina, take us to the next part of our show.
Okay. Well, on that note, I haven't tried Cake Bake Shop, but I still will, but I appreciate where you're coming from. So we have, we're brother and sister, obviously. We have lots of Disney related kind of games, question games, trivia games that we play. And one recently I've been playing with my nieces and some of our siblings is, everybody says, oh, that's my ride or die, my ride or die. So we've been rating our attractions that, throughout the Disney World Resort and saying, okay, if we're calling ride or die, let's play a game and say, do you like this ride or do you not? And if you love it, you say, love to ride. So it's love to ride. And if you don't, you say, let it die. So it's ride or die in that instance.
It's a great thing to play with children.
Yes. Do you want to?
Well,
it's actually hilarious because
it's a good way to train your kids to deal with death. Okay.
Well, what's hilarious on that note is our niece Quinn, who is comical in her own right for many reasons. But when I played this with her and I named certain rides I knew she did not like, she could not have been more emphatic. She was like, let it die, let it die, let it die.
I remember this new Frozen sing-along, let it die.
But anyway, so we thought this would be fun. Again, these are not reviews. Please don't take it personally if we do not love the same ride that you love. We are not actually asking Disney to close down any of these. This is just a matter of rating what we love as lifelong Disney goers and what we are like, I could do without. Like, my expression is even worse probably than let it die. I usually would say, I wouldn't care if that burned down, which is a terrible thing to say because sometimes things do, and I would actually feel bad if something burned down.
So if we're starting this out, okay, let's
Yeah.
just give a visual to
Okay.
those who have been there and those who haven't been, because it's
Right.
the Magic Kingdom
Mhm.
edition of this.
Yeah.
As you walk right down the middle of Main Street,
Mhm.
USA. Yeah, you're welcome.
Mhm.
So you walk up and you make that right by the plaza, okay,
Mhm.
where you can go through and get a little ice cream shop right there, and you go
Mhm.
in the back end or like the side entrance towards
Going through Tomorrowland
Tomorrowland.
Terrace, which
Yeah,
feels like it's
exactly.
never open except for fireworks parties now.
Exactly. Nothing ever happens in there. I'm pretty sure that's where all the dirty deeds of Disney get done.
All right.
Uh, I don't know. That could happen. You don't know. We don't have any other knowledge other than I do. Shh. We don't want to get them. We don't want to be rated. Anyway,
Right.
so you walk through the side of Tomorrowland. You come up.
Yeah, you
and
walk right by that gold Stitch statue that's on
exactly. They
on the
make
purple
sure
wall. Yeah.
they
Mhm.
make sure they have that hanging there just for you. So
Yes.
the first thing you're going to come upon right there is the Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. So you do you love it?
Love to ride. Love to ride. I love it. I think it's so much fun. It's so cute. It's a little different each time because it's audience interaction. I love it. Absolutely. Top notch.
I will say the same. I actually love that attraction. I'm so glad it got put in there because
Yeah.
it's great. And I also like when you get whoever's gets put in the show
That
because
guy?
some people really ham it up and other people are just like, "Oh, you picked the
Yeah.
wrong person. You've chosen poorly."
Yeah.
But I love when they're like, "Oh, it's Randall," and you see somebody duck out of their seat or whatever, just jump on
Yeah.
the floor. But also like, "Hello, humans!"
Yeah.
Ah!
I
You know,
also love the way they play off of the people that aren't as exciting and they kind of like pick up that lead balloon, like, okay. Like they're very good at improvising. So I think, and it's also
and
good
Gina does a great Roz impression.
if you
Yeah.
haven't heard it before. I'm watching, Jeffy. Always watching.
it's
It's like
it's
she was there.
better, I
For people
promise.
on Spotify, they probably thought that was her that just came in the room.
Yeah, people watching think they're looking at her too, and it's the weirdest. Didn't expect that one. Zing. All right.
Anyway,
This is siblings at their
at this
finest.
rate, we will get through no further than Tomorrowland in our
Okay, so
45 minutes.
let's hook the corner right there. Okay,
Okay.
we'll just go around in succession. Let's
Mhm,
hit Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin.
mhm.
What do
I
you
will
think?
I will say love to ride, but even more so love that it's getting updates because the carts are chipped and like not in great condition. I love that it's going to be detachable guns because they really have needed that for a while. But it's super fun to ride with kids. It's something if you have a baby, you can keep them on there comfortably. So I say love to ride, absolutely. And it fits the Tomorrowland vibe.
Yeah, I'm a love to ride, and Gina knows exactly why I love to ride this because I
Oh, I
ride by
do too.
myself. Okay, I'm in the car. I make myself sick because I hit that joystick and I'm like kind of like jerking it back and forth and everything. TV 14. But yeah, so the joystick, nothing
Mhm,
weird.
mhm,
So I have both guns. I've beaten that game on both guns
mhm.
before I've gotten to the final room. And it irritates everybody in my family. What are you doing? You cheating? I'm not. I just happen to know the spots to hit, but I do make myself sick on it going around there. I am a fan of the fact them updating that, having like maybe detachable guns, whatever else it is, because it is work to try to do that, especially if you ride with two people
Yeah, that
and one
sucks.
person's hitting one, you're like aimed up and you're like,
Yeah,
thanks, dude. All right,
yeah,
thanks, dude. And you're sitting
yeah.
there, it's one thing when you know the direction you're about to go, you don't feel as sick, so you're prepared
Mhm.
for it. And you have somebody next to you and they're just tapping that joystick and you're just flimming you all. It's not as fun. But I
It's one of
love
the
that ride. And in the credits to our show, that
Mhm.
little 999, that's one of the guns of my ride. That's why it's
Yeah.
in there.
Not a
'Cause it's
stock
little,
photo, people, not a stock photo.
not a stock
Also, for
photo.
those who don't know, I think most of you who are regular Disney goers know that most cast members, when you go through the gift shop at the end, if you tell them that you beat the clock or beat the gun, they will give you like a celebrating button and say like
It says
Galactic
Black
Hero.
Hero on it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I will
Yeah.
say, like, I agree with you, but that is probably one of the only rides I really don't mind when it stops for a while because your gun keeps working. And so you're just like shooting, shooting, shooting. And like if you're in
Yeah,
the
and I
right
don't beat it
room,
the crappy way. Like I don't beat it the I stalled in the room with the mountain in
no,
the
you do
back
it,
with the
you
claw in the
come
front.
across it
But
honestly.
pro tip, okay, for you Buzz Lightyear fans, if you're gonna go in the next little while before they close it down, do whatever they're gonna do to it. First room, claw from the ceiling, hand down there, shoot the middle of that. Start shooting it before you even make it into that room, and just from a
Mhm.
distance, hit that one up, and then hit the back mountain
The
in the
volcano.
second room. Hit that one, and then also when you get into that third room, the bottom of his machine, shoot at that, okay?
Mhm.
And of course, we got the projection room. You can, if you hit the thing, you get some decent points
Yeah.
on that. You just got to wait till he stops and shoot
Yeah.
towards his weapon.
Right.
That's all the tips I'm going to give you because I'm selfish and I want to teach people how to beat me.
Yeah. So far,
So,
2 for 2.
after that.
Love that ride, both of us. On the two
Yeah,
that
remember
we-
we're Disney fans, okay? So you're gonna be kind of hard pressed to be like, I hate it. We're not those people. I know we've been saying some things we wish were different and everything else, but we do love Disney.
Of course. We love
Take
each
us on
other.
our journey.
Doesn't mean we
Take
don't
us
feel
on
the
our
way.
journey, Gina.
Continue the journey.
Take us-
Okay. Carousel of Progress, a classic. Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. I know it's a polarizing thing because the people that aren't maybe Disney junkies would be like, but I will kill you if you do not say love this ride. I will kill
love
you.
that
I will
ride.
leave.
I love it. It's my favorite place to go
Oh my
ever.
God,
It
you
is. I love that
terrified me
ride. I
with
just want to
the
mess
face you were
with you.
making. You
Yeah.
terrified me.
No, I know, but I'm like, I love that ride because it's first of all, pro tip again, is if it's a hot day and you want to be energy, you want to take a little rest, you're sitting down, you've got, I'm like, that's like probably anywhere from like, what would you say, like a 12 to 15-minute show, something
it's
like
20.
that at least.
I think it's
Or it could
20.
be
They
like,
tell you at
maybe
the
it's 15 to
beginning.
20, maybe I'm thinking. And again, check my math, whatever else is. I'm sure I'll get corrected in the comments or by Gina later on this episode. Who knows? Yeah. So, but yeah, that's a great place for air conditioning to rest your dogs and just take a little break. And it's a great show. I love it. It's been
Also,
running since the World's Fair.
I was going to say it's something to know that it's a ride that Walt Disney himself actually created. Like they
Love
say
it.
that, and the Tiki Birds are like the last, like the two that are his name is
So
attached
you love
to.
it.
I love it, love it, love it. I would wager to say that paired with one that's coming up are like my 2 favorite of all time.
You know, the dad and the daughter are actually in Space Mountain too. There's the animatronics.
Oh, I
Both
didn't
of
know
them make an appearance in there. I want to say it's like the Fiddler or something like that, and like the one Renaissance scene.
that. I
It's
think you mean Spaceship Earth.
Spaceship
I
Earth.
think-
That's what I
yeah.
said.
I
What
think you
did I
said
say?
Space Mountain.
You know
I
I
think
do that.
Mountain.
So hey guys, Gina corrects me.
I was
again.
like, where in Space Mountain?
We
Like
don't do
covered-
outtakes. Okay. Spoiler alert, I got that one wrong again. Don't. I hate myself sometimes, and it's a lot of the time. So anyway, let's go do. You know what I was thinking? Next stop is. You know what?
Space
Next stop's not going to be then. It's
Okay.
going to be People Mover. Okay, the next stop will be the People Mover. We'll go
my
right to
other
the center.
favorite. Yeah,
Okay.
my other favorite. Love that ride. Love that ride. Would ride it all day. Anytime I see one of those things on social that says, for $1 million, you have to ride one ride for 24 hours. That's always gonna be my pick. People Mover, People Mover, People Mover.
I love it. And again, each time we go through something, if I have a tip to give you, pro tip is if you do like fireworks, but you're not enthralled with them, but you want to have some of the magic, you want to get on the People Mover during one of the fireworks shows because you'll get some outside views and you'll get some neat little little views of the fireworks from People Mover, which is nice. And it's a great ride anyway. You go through enough of Tomorrowland, see some things. It's a lot of fun.
That would bring us to.
And I love it. I love it. So if you're asking, I love it. I love it.
Well,
So
that build up, I would assume.
I don't know. Sometimes Gina doesn't listen. If you watch one of our prior podcasts and Gina or listen to it, and Gina was not listening to me as I said something 3 seconds before she said it.
In my defense, I knew that's what I was getting ready to say. So I think I was just waiting for you to take a breath so I could say that, not really that you'd said it. Sorry about that.
Okay, so after that, and I feel like Gina and I are going to line up on this one, and I feel like it's a moot point at this point. Astro Orbiter.
Let it die. Let it die. I never liked that
I
ride.
think it might be already gone. I think they took it out.
They did, but I don't know that it's leaving like permanently. It's
How
I don't
do
know.
you-
If you know,
how do
say
you-
in the comments.
I don't understand the logistics of it not being there. We were there. I'm like, it's literally not there. Like, it's not on top. You have the launching pad, and like from what I could tell, it's not there. It's just the elevator to nothingness. So if you want to go up there and be weird,
I mean, I will say fireworks were
yourself,
cool
I
from
don't know.
that, but not worth it for how short you're up there. You know, and I hated how the thing would, like, bang
that ride makes
bottom.
fireworks worse. Like
Yeah.
that ruins fireworks. That is the memory destroyer. That's what it is. It's like nobody likes that. Okay, tell us in the comments and be mean. I don't care. Whatever. But it's like nobody likes the Astro Orbiter because that's why it's got like 4 people in line and it only holds like 4 people. And then you're like, oh, great. I got to take this elevator up down. Nobody wants to waste most of their Disney day waiting for the elevator to go up to the Astro Orbiter, waiting for the elevator to come down from it. You're going to invest a lot of time. You might as well just go ride Dumbo. It's a higher version of Dumbo.
Yes.
Okay?
I just remember the cart constantly hitting the bottom of like the platform when you'd come down, and it just didn't feel very smooth. I just didn't find it enjoyable. So some people might. It's just not for me.
And
Let it
again, to each their own. Let's go on over and meander down the lane to Spaceship Earth. See what I did there? I know it's Space
Yes,
Mountain.
Fun fact,
I've had some time at the mountain.
one of the tallest mountains in all of Florida.
Yeah. Man-made.
That is true.
Exactly. There isn't a lot of
Space
mountains in Florida, so that is one of the tallest mountains in
It
Florida,
is.
and
It
they're all
literally
made
is.
by basically by Disney.
Yep, true.
Um, so what do you think, Space Mountain?
I am going to qualify this one with a loved to ride before I had neck problems. I always loved it, would get on it over and over and over and over again. But the problem is because it's older and it's not as smooth as, let's say, like a Snow White, like the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It's so like jerky for me that it's not comfortable for my neck. I don't want it to die. I'm clarifying. Don't let it die, but I don't love to ride it the way I used to because it's just a little too jerky for me. But I do think it's an awesome ride. I'd love it to get an update, like kind of like the Hyperspace Mountain they have. But overall, it's a great memory for me, and I think it's a fun ride.
No, I definitely agree with you. I love that ride. I really do. I remember it's got great memories from when we were younger and when I first got on it, which when the queue line was a lot different when we
Yes.
were younger.
Mhm.
And when you went in there, it was always the projections on the ceiling. And the one I was convinced was a giant chocolate chip cookie flying by.
Yeah.
Apparently it was an asteroid or something, but I still here's the thing. I probably was in my 20s before I realized it wasn't a giant chocolate chip cookie. It could have been sponsored by Nabisco for all I know, or like Nestle Toll House. But I thought it was a big giant cookie. It was apparently an asteroid flying through there. But I do love that ride. I do have a little bit of problem with some motion sickness here and there. My daughter Peyton loves getting on it, and I do still love it. Even minus the motion sickness, I love it.
I will say another thing about it is, when you get off the ride and there's those little like things you go past, and it was like Dream of a New World or whatever. But previously it was something called Home of Future Living. And I think that's when the ride was sponsored by like RCA or something. But it was really cool, like look. It almost had like a little bit of a Horizons aspect to it, where it's like a family and like a future home. And I liked that much better than when you got, and it was just kind of like lame. I didn't like what they replaced.
Yeah,
that
now
with.
it's a weird exit off of Space Mountain. Like it's very, very Dullsville. But you remember when it was under construction for things, and before they were building Tron, and you had to go outside of Space Mountain. It was like this horrible trek. You're like, I'm like, they might as well have cups of water they're handing out in this journey, because I'm like, I feel like I'm in the middle of a marathon. But it was a hard journey out of that ride when you got off it, because it was like, I'm like, how did they figure on this? They couldn't have made a shorter, like shortest distance between 2 points, guys, straight line. You had to make a squiggle that went back like this in the same room a million times. You're like, have you been on Guardians? It's got an elevator, it's got this stuff, but it's like, here, up the steps, down the steps, whatever. All right, so
that's good lead in to the next ride, which you just mentioned a second ago.
What did I mention?
Tron, we said before.
Tron, never heard of it. Tron. Go ahead.
I'm going to say love that ride, but I'm going to say love that ride more at night. I will say the very first time I rode it, it was a little hard for me to get a gauge. Obviously, it was super hyped up when everybody talked about it was the best ride ever in Shanghai and everything. But I rode it with my son, who was like, I want to say 7, maybe 6 at the time. And I was so worried about whether he was going to be comfortable, because it's for those who haven't ridden it, you're riding it like a motorcycle, basically. So there's a thing that comes up and presses against your back to hold you in that position. There are 2 standard seats in the back if you can't sit in that position. But I was so worried about whether he was going to like it. I couldn't really focus on the ride. So the next time I got on it, I could focus on it more. And I do enjoy it. I just think it's 1,000 times better at night when you come out and do that part around. I think that's so much cooler at night. For me, it's not a 10. The ride is not a 10 for me, and that may be a hot take, but I think it's like
I think it is
7.
I think I'm with you. I love to ride it. I think it's a solid ride. Okay. I feel it suffers from Dumbo, kind of the same plight, because it's a very short ride.
Yeah.
For a very long wait. Now, Dumbo, they rectified. They're not going to build another Tron next to Tron, but it's like, again, Dumbo's like what? It was all of a 45-second ride. It's not long. It's very, very short. Again, check my math. Don't care. But it's a short ride.
We're not here for facts, people.
Wait a long time because kids love Dumbo. Now, Tron, I love it. I think it was a great ride. I was a little let down by the pre-show kind of thing. I feel like the reveal there, I won't spoil it for those who haven't gotten on it, let you experience for yourself. I was a little let down by that when you compare it to maybe Flight of Passage or something else along those lines, where it's a little more high-techy and they went the extra distance. Even, I will tell you, even Test Track or something, I feel like it was just a little bit more with those. So that's kind of my opinion. But I do love it, and I agree with your your stance of saying it is better at night because it does have a really cool glow to it. It looks neat. It kind of looks at certain angles like you're looking at a giant brassiere. Yes, I said brassiere. That's the official term for
Yeah.
bra. But yeah, TV-14. But I feel like it is nice at night. Like it's a smooth ride though. I mean, it might not be the
Yeah,
most
it's very
comfortable, but it
smooth.
is
It's
very smooth. I
Yeah.
feel like though when it gets up to its real, like it's getting it. Like it's
It's
getting it. It's getting it. So when it goes there, look at me, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. That's a thing I do. It's weird. So when it finally gets going, you feel like, yeah, and then it's done. You're like,
Yep.
oh man, it's over. You know, I'm like,
Yeah,
I
that's how I
compare that
felt
to
about
many
Kali
things in
River.
life, but
That's how I feel about Kali River Rapids. Not to jump to another park, but like Kali River Rapids, I feel like as soon as you start feeling like this is it's over. Like the best
Yeah.
part is 2
you're
seconds
like,
before
oh,
it's
you
over,
got
and you're
me.
like,
I think that's how
yeah,
they get you to ride it again. They're like, you want more of the ride? We'll ride it again. It's like the ride again. Okay,
yeah,
there you go.
yeah,
Whatever. Simple things.
So,
All right.
okay.
So from there, we go from Tron. We back out. We walk by the Tomorrowland Speedway. Okay. What is your thoughts on the Speedway, or should I go first?
You go first.
Okay. I have fond memories of the Speedway. It's where I learned to drive with my father when I was young. I think it was my dad. I think I was with him in there. It is every parent's worst nightmare, this ride, when your kid is controlling the wheel because all you're doing is bumping across a rail in the middle a million times and stopping and starting. It was fun when I was a kid. I loved it then. You can let it die now because I have not ridden that thing, and I couldn't tell you how many years now because it's too herky jerky for me. It was a neat concept. I think Walt would even be like, "Let's get rid of this. It's time has been had, and let's go on from here." It made him
Yeah.
want to leave the park. Good.
I don't disagree with you. I will say that because I do think I can relate to the children and the experience of feeling like you get to drive on your own. I remember the first time I ever drove one all by myself. I was just like the right height, so my feet like just hit the gas, and I remember driving like I could barely touch the gas pedal, and like I had to have a cast member get in halfway through and like hit the gas pedal for me. So it's very it's sad. It is sad. I was little. I mean, I was little. I was 25. Just kidding.
Yeah,
But,
and I was chanting from the bleachers,
yeah.
"Loser!"
Yeah, I was just I get like for a kid, it's a big deal. I don't want to full out say let it die. For me, yeah, let it die. I don't care if it goes away forever, but I do feel like it could use a great update. I know I'm not the only person that thinks it would have been really cool for that to be where they brought cars in and do it, totally revamp it and make that somehow.
Ka-chow.
But for me personally, wouldn't shed a tear if it went away.
Yeah, no, I agree the same way.
Yeah.
So let's walk
So we've
right next
completed
to it.
Tomorrowland.
We're still in Tomorrowland.
Okay.
Okay. But we've pretty much hit most of the attractions in Tomorrowland. So we're actually walking into Fantasyland now.
Yes.
And the first thing you come upon is the teacups.
Mhm.
Now, I have some things to say. I have some things to say about the teacups. If I can say the word teacups, apparently, because I've been drinking or something. This is water in my cup, not vodka. I promise
Spill
you.
the tea, Josh.
Yeah. Now I'll just put some vodka in it. Anyway, so I'm at the teacups. That ride, again, I think we've covered this before where I said I could get on like a tilt-a-whirl at Boardwalk and Baseball. It was an old amusement park way back in the day in Florida. And I could spin forever. This one, I don't even want to look at the teacups because I want to throw up. That one to me, I don't love to ride, but I can't say let it die because I feel like you need the aesthetic in Fantasyland, and there are kids that love it. For me, it's I could do without it. I just won't ride it, but I'll look at it.
Yeah.
That's kind of my take on the ride. I could sit in there and do the little, hey, you're not actually moving, but nobody wants to be that guy in the teacup that's just kind of doing one of these, like you're somebody's little robot vacuum and just going around the place. Like, all right, it's
Roomba.
Yeah, it's the Roomba. Here, everybody do the Roomba. Yeah, and then you got the person that's trying to whip their whole family around. And they're just spraying vomit over people, but that's a different story.
Yeah, I would say that I'm on a similar feelings about it as you are. I think it's an iconic Magic Kingdom attraction. I do think aesthetically it looks really good. I do think there's people that love it. I think that I can't imagine them putting something there and it being like a better aesthetic. You know what I mean? I do think that there's way better attractions they could have given Alice in Wonderland, like Disneyland has, the Alice in Wonderland attraction.
Yeah.
But I feel like for it's not a love to ride or let it die. It's like, let it live. It's like,
Yeah.
you can let it live, like let it survive. I don't care. But for me, again, not my, I can't say I wouldn't get on it ever again because I really don't mind spinning, but I do think it's far better for a similar based ride than the alien swirling saucers over at Toy Story, because that feels like a crappy old boardwalk ride that feels super phoned into me. But we'll save that for the day that we rate those rides. But let it live.
Okay. So as we're walking here, again, we're giving you a visual, especially for you, those of you listening. I'll get real close to the mic so I can talk this way and make it sound really seductive. So listen to this as I laugh like some kind of weird hyena. So as you're walking past the teacups, you make a right towards the Big Top Circus or whatever, or the Storybook Circus, whatever they're calling it. You go in there, and then Dumbo's your first kind of encounter. And you have two Dumbos. We've mentioned that. Two Dumbos right there, which is nice. Right. You have a little play area inside, so it gives you something to do as you're waiting. I think that was a really great addition to that ride. Great. I'm going to be the same way about Dumbo as I was with the teacups. I don't want to say let it die, but I really, unless you're entertaining like a child or a grandchild, something like that, I said, that's, to me, it's not going to be on my list of things to go on, but I do have a love in my heart for the Dumbo ride because, again, it's something that really captures the essence of what the original park was. And I feel like that Dumbo did that. And now there's two of them. Maybe let one die, just make you guys wait in line again. So that's my take. On to you, Gina.
For me, I was.
You agree? Kid. Okay. All right. Next round.
I was that kid that made mom and dad wait in very long lines. Because remember, when we were kids, there was a lot less attractions. There was no new Fantasyland or anything like that. There was no.
I thought you were going to say when you were a kid, you were a lot less attractive, and you were talking to me. I don't know why I heard it that way.
That's a whole nother.
Go on, speak things.
But I loved it for those short seconds you're riding it. I loved it, loved it, loved it. And I will say, yes. As far as if it was just me and you going to Magic Kingdom right now, I don't see Dumbo being a ride that we're going to jump on. However, I will say when we were in our 20s, me and my best friend would get on it every time because it was iconic Magic Kingdom. It was cute. You get great photos with our blurry cameras. And so I did ride it even as an adult. But now having my son, of course, I love riding it with him. But if I was going on just an adult's trip, I'm kind of past the novelty of riding it as an adult without a child, if that makes sense. But I would definitely say love that ride for all those other reasons.
Okay. And then immediately next door to or said Dumbo, whatever I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm saying. Words are tough again. So next to Dumbo, you have the Barnstormer, which is the Goofy coaster, as we call it.
Yeah.
So, which is a great entry little coaster for kids.
It is.
I still think it's fun.
I do too.
As an adult, if it's a short wait, I'm going to say I love it. I love to ride it. Because if it's a short wait, especially, otherwise you're literally, it's kind of like the one at the fair or one of those things, or not fair, like a carnival where they have the one with the cable and it's like the cables and the things are spinning and it's throwing you around the track. It's basically the same premise with a little bit more pizzazz. But it's a cute coaster and it's Goofy. Who doesn't love Goofy? It's a nice little thing there.
I would also say, though, it is a thrilling coaster for a little kid, though. Like the way it's not like it's on some
for a little kid. I thought for you, I was like,
no. I'm saying if you're a little kid and that's your baby coaster you're getting on, it's not like it's some lame baby.
I think it's a rite of passage now kind of thing for kids that gets them ready for something like a big Thunder Mountain. Space mountain.
I agree with you about depending on the wait time, but if I'm with my son, that is one of our all-time favorite rides. I know if he watches this episode, he will be waiting for me to tell this story, but there was a time we rode it 5 times in a row because the wait was very low because it was getting ready to rain. And that's one of those rides they will shut down if it starts raining. So we were getting in line and we kept saying, can we stay on? And the person was like, oh, no, you got to get back around. So we're like, oh, this is annoying because there was really no wait. But by the time we'd ridden it the 3rd time, they had switched cast members. And so when we stopped in the station, that guy said, do you just want to stay on? And we were like, yep. And so we stayed on 2 more times. We rode it 5 times. That's another thing. It's not one that's going to make you sick.
It's who you know, Gina. It's who you know.
Yes, but my son and I love it. It's going to be eternal. I can see riding it with him as he grows older and just being an eternal, sentimental memory for us. But I do love that ride. Love that ride.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And I know we won't cover this now, but there's a station right there for the railroad.
Right.
I'm not going to cover this. on
Yeah.
this part. We'll wait till we get to the front of the park, and
Yeah.
again, if
Close it
we'll
out.
get to what we can get to on this
Yeah.
particular episode.
Mhm.
As we back out of the Storybook Circus, you come out and you make the right as you're going through the main entrance. You'll go through and you'll get up to where it's the aerial ride. Okay, the Little
Mhm.
Mermaid, Voyage of Little Mermaid. Is it Voyage of Little Mermaid, or what is it called? What is it called now? I always get, because I'm always the MGM guy, again, MGM Hollywood Studios, where it was the Voyage of the Little Mermaid. I think it's the Under the Sea with Ariel. Is that what
I
it's?
think you're
Okay.
right. That's crazy because it's one of those ones like I don't feel like I even think
And
about what it's called because
it's
you're
weird
calling them by
because
nicknames.
I love this ride. Like,
Mhm.
I love the aerial ride in Magic Kingdom. Usually it's not a horrible wait anytime I've been there. I love the queue line. I think the queue line is adorable. It's themed nicely. You go through, it's got a little stuff you can look at. I love that kind of aesthetic. So, and the ride's fun. Like, you go in there, it's an omnimover kind of ride. You're in a big clamshell. It's kind of like you're in the living seas, not the living seas, but like the seas with Nemo. Same kind of premise. You get in there, you go around. It's like it's kind of like I would say Seas with Nemo meets what was it? I just thought of it. I just
Peter
had the
Pan?
thing. Huh?
Peter Pan?
No, it's not. No, I don't. There was something I was gonna say, and now I'm upset. You've upset me, Gina. Say things and I'll remember it. I love the
Okay.
ride. Let's put it that
Okay.
way. You say things now and I'll
I
remember what
also I also love the ride. I agree with everything you said. I think it's a great themed queue. You know, I'm big on anybody who listens to our podcast knows I will beat
time
it
out.
like
Living Seas meets Splash Mountain without
Okay.
like the water and stuff, because the
Okay.
way some of the scenes are reminds me
Mhm.
of part of like the old Splash Mountain, the
I can
OG
see
Splash
that.
Mountain. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
I
what it
can
was.
see that. Um,
Continue on your way.
Theming is a big deal for me. I will beat that like into the ground that theming in Disney is everything to me. So what
Yeah.
I love about it is from the second you walk in, the queue is very well themed. They're comfortable little ride vehicles. It is a pain that it does constantly. I don't think it's just stopping for wheelchairs. I think sometimes it is just having mechanical errors. There's a lot of videos about things that have happened there. But what I love the most about this ride is that when they brought it on, I was so excited that it really did fit the Fantasyland vibe. Like it feels, even though we all know it is a little more, modern than Peter Pan per se, but it fits that same kind. It wasn't like they were bringing in some high tech ride into Fantasyland and then it was making everything else look outdated. It fits the way they did the styling, the way they did, the animatronics in there. It tells the story very well. I love that about it because when I stepped in, I go, this feels right. Like this ride feels like it belongs in Fantasyland. It doesn't feel like this is making like it feel like you're trying to be too modern for what Magic Kingdom is. It just fit that old school vibe in a very, very nice way. So I do absolutely love that ride. Love that
Yeah,
ride.
and I like the meet and greet next to it too. That's
Mhm.
a cute little addition.
Yeah.
So as we walk up through there, okay, you're gonna go over and you get towards like the Gaston's pub and all that stuff that's
Mhm.
up there, or tavern, and then you
Mhm.
go through and you come across a little bridge area kind of thing over towards like Be Our Guest, and you'll get to Enchanted Tales with Belle, okay, which is
Mhm.
more like a storybook show
Yeah.
than and the same thing goes for like
It's an
Carousel of
attraction.
Progress.
Call it.
It's
It's an
still an
attraction.
attraction. I love that. Right. It's not a ride. I mean, it's a show,
Right.
but
So was
I
Monsters Inc. But we said the
I
same thing.
think it's cool, like the way it starts out. Kind of got a little bit of that. They brought back the magic a bit, so to speak, on there. I was really floored when I first saw the show. I was like, "Hey, this is neat." How it kind of transitioned. That you walk through like the mirror and everything, or the little doorway, whatever you want to call it, and then they get a chance to be in the thing. That's kind of fun too. But I like the show. I think it's fun. I think it's appeals to adults and children alike. I mean, anybody can go there and enjoy themselves. So I'm going to say I loved to ride on it.
I'm going to say the same thing. Fun fact, I saw Mama June and Honey Boo Boo in line for that one time when I was getting
I
on
don't
it.
know what a honey boo boo is.
Okay. Anyway, but I love it for the same reasons you do. I think it does have that little magical element, but I think also it's definitely even better when you've got small children with you because I'll never forget my son's first time being part of it. He got to be like a little pepper shaker, and I was so proud of him that he was like up there by himself because my son, he was always very timid and did not like to step 5 feet away from me for the longest time.
Mhm.
But he got up, he had his little pepper shaker, and I have one of my favorite because you got to remember about that. It's not just the show, it's the fact that it ends with a meet and greet. And so, like, if you're in that show and he's a little pepper shaker, he has no lines, nothing, he just does his thing. But that he got to meet Belle at the end and she gives him this big hug. And it was so magical. It's the emotional moments we talk about all the time that make us I feel it. Like when I tell the story, I can physically feel like the emotions like coming all flooding back to me. It's fun when anybody in your family gets picked to be in the show, but even if they don't, it's still to watch other people's kids, like whoever gets to pick to be the beast. It's so cute to see these. It's like going to a little elementary school play and watching these kids, and some of them are really fun showmen and some of them are so nervous, and you just feel like, oh my God, like it's your kids up there, even if it's not. So absolutely love it. I think it's a great addition.
All right, so there's that. So we'll go. We have one. We have time for one more
Okay.
attraction. So we'll kind of
Mhm.
make a left-hand turn as we're going to go towards the rides. Like we'll skip for this episode. Mine Train. Okay,
Okay.
Mine Train. We'll go from the edge of Fantasyland where the teacups are inward, and that would be the many
Winnie the
adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Pooh. Mhm.
Okay, so that ride, the Winnie the Pooh ride, I have a issue because I loved Mr. Toad's Wild
Same.
Ride. I like the nod to the handing over the deed to Owl kind
Yeah.
of deal. I think that was cute in there. It's a fun
Doesn't Theme
ride.
Park Chuckle have a shirt about that? Am I
Yes,
wrong?
I believe
Theme
they
Park
do.
Chuckle?
Yeah, it was like an eviction notice for
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Mr.
I remember
Toad's
seeing
Wild
that.
Ride signed by Winnie the Pooh. Yes, that's on themeparkchuckle.com. So thank you to our sponsor.
Mhm.
But if you go on there, it's still a fun ride. It's great. I think it's a lot of fun. I will still say I love it. Still wish it was Mr. Toad because it was my absolute favorite ride when I was a child. But definitely loved to ride.
I will say love to ride as well. I do love that that was one of the rides that, had the interactive cue, little things you can play with, like your hands running. It looks like honey. And, obviously your kids are all going to get
Mhm.
germs from there, but whatever. That was fun. I like that again, it's a ride that fits in the old school vibe, like very similar to what it was like getting on Mr. Toad's or getting on Peter Pan. I like that it's that vibe and it didn't go too far away from that Fantasyland concept. I remember riding it the first time and thinking all the little changes to like the way your vehicle moves, like when you're in the Tigger room or when you're on the river. Like, I think that's really, really cool. So I think it's a very well done ride. If you're a Winnie the Pooh fan, you're absolutely going to love it. I'm with you. Nostalgically, I do miss Mr. Toad, but I do think this is an amazing, awesome ride. And so I will love the ride.
Yeah, no, I think we're the same mind. So this will be the part one of the Magic Kingdom Love to Ride or Let It Die edition. Okay, we'll say that. Uh, Thank you again to our sponsor, okay, which is Theme Park Chuckle. Make sure you go on themeparkchuckle.com, pick you out a cool Disney based humor t-shirt on there, like this Disney Until I Die with a skull with mouse ears on. You can find that on themeparkchuckle.com. Thank you again to them.
Along with
So,
the Mr. Toad and Winnie the Pooh one.
yeah, apparently that's on there too.
Yeah.
So, one thing we want to do is go through our shout outs for the week. Okay, shout out.
Hello.
Gina's on TV.
I know our
Gina, you
Spotify
wanna do
listeners
our
don't
shout
get
outs
that
this
joke.
week?
I would love to give shout outs, first of all, to our mom who has been
Oh,
a
Mom.
dedicated viewer
Love
from
you,
the
Mom.
beginning. She literally cannot wait till the episode is uploaded. She tries to get me to show it to her early. She loves it. She laughs at us, and she just is such a proud mama. Love that. Thank you, mommy. We love you very much. And am I doing all of them, or are we taking turns?
You could do all of them.
Okay.
Let's make it all
Also,
about you. I
you've
have the
heard us.
little graphic right over your face, so it's
You have
perfect.
heard us mention her many times on the show before, but we also want to give a shout out to our sister Danny, because Danny is also a regular viewer, checks it out as soon as it drops, and she always sends Josh and I a very long text giving reviews about everything she thinks, all in good fun and love and humor. But we appreciate that, Danny. Thank you for
Thank you,
that.
Daniel.
We also want to give a shout out to Caitlin Ornstein, who has been a regular viewer of our show and has commented on our YouTube. We appreciate the love and support and has shared things on her social media. And then our final one is to the nicest couple you'll ever meet, Steve and Stephanie Nice, also regular watchers of our program, listeners, and we appreciate the support. So thank you all so much. Shout out.
Yeah, shout out. Yeah. All right. And once
Look
again,
at us
thank
trying
you,
to
our
keep
sponsor.
time.
Our
Look
sponsor,
at us.
Theme Park Chuckle. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a great show. I'm glad we got to unpack our love or let it die ride choices here. And we'll do another episode with the rest of the Magic Kingdom. But for now, you get somewhat of a venture through Tomorrow, part of Fantasyland and into Storybook Circus. So give you a little something and something to look forward to for the next time. So I think that was a pretty fun little journey.
I like it. It's fun hearing our different opinions about it as people that have been going together forever, what we like, what we don't. Speaking of likes, be sure to like this video if you like it and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Bring Back the Magic Podcast. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at BBT Magic Podcast. And we're also on Facebook as well. And as you know, you're watching this either on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify, but we're available on both. Please, again, like, subscribe, follow, whatever the instruction is. And please we always love hearing from you guys. We always love it. So thank you for everyone who has interacted with us thus far.
Oh, thank you all for joining us this week, or this episode rather, and watch your head and step as you exit the podcast. We'll see you next time.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.